Hey everybody, this is Carl Smith. It's March, still 2015. I'm gonna tape a quick intro to the podcast. I think this is number 10. This is with David Thornberry. His website is runningdogpress.com. He is a Austin-based painter and teacher, poet, and does a lot of interesting things and has taught a lot of art students over the years. He's my favorite teacher in Austin, and hopefully we'll get to that in the interview. There's a Daniel Johnston documentary. He knew Daniel, he still knows Daniel, and check that out. I think it's called The Devil and Daniel Johnston or something. But anyway, yeah, check him out, and he's an amazing painter. The paintings are really interesting. They're texts and animals and all kinds of cool stuff. And look at his poetry too. His poetry is really cool, and it's great to meet a painter who knows how to write, who knows how to speak. A lot of artists that I meet, I feel like sometimes don't know how to communicate effectively, and I don't really either, but it's something I think artists should work on more. They should be able to talk to people about their art, and if you're selling your art ever, it's just kind of a respect thing, to be able to talk about what someone is buying from you and to be able to, as effectively as possible, express what you're doing. And I know it's hard for artists to do that, but I think it's important to try. And that's what I'm doing with this podcast. I'm trying to meet artists, talk to artists, and grow as an artist to a place where I can talk about who I am, talk about what I'm doing, and hopefully be more successful and hopefully inspire other artists to do the same thing so we all have a better chance of surviving. But anyway, so that's a long rambly intro, but yeah, look, this is David Thornberry, Austin Abstract Artist Podcast number 10. Check it out. Thanks. Thanks. Do you want to sit here?
Yeah, that's good.
Cool. I think we should just go for it.
I like all the brush energy.
I'm wiping off the brushes.
Yeah, no, this is cool.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for doing it. Thanks for coming over.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry, we don't have a better space. You might hear some lawn mowing or
No, that's just life happening around us.
It is.
No, this is a very, very cool space, actually. It's very energetic.
Thanks. You can pull that out too, that little table.
No. Yeah, man, so this is great. Wow.
Yeah, it's tight. It's insulated. It's got AC.
Really?
It's got electric. I got a water thing to clean shit.
Yeah.
It took me years to get it up, get it up and running.
So you actually built this?
Yeah. I used eHow plans online.
What's the foundation? How is it?
It's just pier and beam on bricks.
Really?
I dug a little bit and put some sand, and then put just like gardening bricks on it, and then put beams on that, and
hey, it works.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, I couldn't paint in the house. My wife would fucking cut my balls off if I did this in there.
Yeah, this would be bad in the house. Yeah.
It's very messy. Do you have a studio?
Yeah, I took over a room in our house, and I just dominate that room.
Yeah.
But it's a whole room. It's like it's a bed, essentially like a bedroom. And it no closet, no nothing, so it's good. It's just like all walls and windows, so it's real big.
Yeah.
And yeah, it works great.
You don't have any kids?
Just dogs.
Dogs, yeah. I love dogs.
Dogs and cats.
Oh, you have cats too?
Yeah, I got 3 cats.
Cool. And you said you were an animal at some point?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm convinced.
You were an what kind of animal were you? I'm sorry, this is
No,
really interesting.
I think I've been animals a few times.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, for sure. Like I have a definite connection to dogs. And in fact, it's funny because the reason I'm so convinced that I've been an animal a few times is because I'm so baffled by society.
Yeah.
Like I don't get human society.
Yeah.
Sometimes so much that I think this isn't my normal world. Like I don't get this at all.
Yeah.
So I think I must be I must not live in this society normally, which would be an animal.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because I'm like, what the fuck is that? You know, I don't get this.
Doesn't everyone, not everyone, but 80%, I feel like 80% of people I meet have that on some level. Yeah. Artists are like 100%.
Yeah.
It's like I really don't belong here.
Yeah, honestly. And even then, you're right. Like I the ones that really get me are the ones that the artists that seem like, you know, they're creative and they're doing work I respect, but they seem perfectly sane and balanced. I'm like, how in the hell do you do that?
Fuck, yeah.
What
Your dad must have been a surgeon, or
yeah.
it usually comes from somewhere you've observed someone else doing that, and
right.
then you integrate it into what you're doing.
You know, like there are guys like Jerry Seinfeld, right? Like, you know, creative, good work, made a bunch of money.
Yeah,
seems perfectly normal. Like, how did that happen?
He's. I mean, I don't really like him that much. I like the comedians in cars getting coffee.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, that's good.
Those are pretty
it's
good.
Really good. Yeah, some of them are great.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah, the Louis.
Yeah.
CK one. Someone was telling me about the Alec Baldwin one.
That's fantastic.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
But I like that he's doing that, and the Sarah Silverman one is good. I like
that's
how
good.
When they're in LA just walking and they like, you know, accidentally bump into the car that's sponsoring the program.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, how'd this Nissan get here?
Michael Richards is a good one too. Check that one out.
Oh, Michael Richards.
Yeah, they discussed the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah.
God, I wish that guy still had a career.
I know. He really... Okay, he fucked up, but you know what? He deserves a chance. I mean, another chance.
Yeah, I think comedians, like even black comedians, are kind of like, you fuck up. People do that. That doesn't mean you should not have a career anymore.
Yeah.
That you've been building over.
I mean,
forever.
It's like he's, you know, I mean, he just has to now rest on that money and never make.
Yeah.
You know, even Seinfeld says to him at the end of the thing, he says, you know, I hope you get back in it because you have a beautiful instrument. And, you know, I hope you play it again because I mean, he's great.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he's a character.
Yeah, and he really does need a career.
Yeah. What else is he gonna do?
Right.
He's gonna work in an office as an advertising executive.
Right. That's not gonna work.
No. Well, I'm gonna do a couple of notes. It's recording. I usually like pop my head in on the side. I'm just checking for batteries because the batteries run out.
Oh yeah, sure.
But yeah, I'm Carl. You're David.
I am.
Thornberry. This is Austin Abstract Artist Podcast number 10, I think.
Which I have not been able to listen to.
Yeah. Listen to 5, which is with the gallerist Annie Wells. She's great. She goes right into toe sucking and crazy shit. The one with Jim Franklin is really good. Do you know him?
I don't.
He's like a Austin. He does those kind of iconic music posters.
Oh yeah. I know who that is. Sure.
There's Michael Priest who does those too, but he was kind of the first guy to do those, and he goes off. I don't even say anything. He just it's an hour and a half of him talking about atheism and Austin in the 30s and 60s, and yeah, that's a great one.
The only reason I haven't been able to listen is because it's technical. My computer's in this shop,
yeah,
and I can't open your link on the phone.
Yeah,
it won't open.
And I don't have the money to fucking put it up on, like all the podcast hosting websites want money. You put one up for free, that's like in 40 minutes or whatever, and the next one they immediately start trying to charge you money.
Really? How much? Is it a lot?
No, but if it was $3, it would be too much for me.
Well, you know, that's there must be even a way around that eventually.
Well, what I've been doing is I just put them on YouTube because it's free.
Right.
So you can't download them. They don't go into iTunes, but at least you can put it up for free and people can listen to it somehow.
Yeah.
But eventually, I'm gonna apologize too for the equipment because I have this shitty, tiny recorder. I'm gonna upgrade that someday, or at least go to somewhere and rent something with mics. So the sound quality
it's cool
is
that you're doing it at all, man. It's really cool.
Yeah, there's
very
not,
ambitious.
It's weird. There's not more of them. There's only 3 of them in Austin.
Really?
Yeah.
I wanted to do a poetry one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That would be
thinking about that.
There's like a Austin-based poetry.
Yeah.
Because there's a good poetry scene here.
Pretty good. Yeah.
I immediately think of Tom, the world poet.
Which, you know, of course, he's going to be in there someday.
Yeah, he's gonna drive his way.
Yeah. For sure.
I'm hit and miss with him, but he's got that work ethic from
phenomenal. I love Tom. I mean, I just wish I can't tell somebody to write like I write, but I do wish he would edit more.
Yeah.
You know,
He puts it all out
it's
there.
just all out there.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like there might be some gold in there if you would, you know, clean it up a little bit. But it just all comes out.
Poetry.
That's not how I write, I guess. So that's why I disagree with it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you and poetry. I mean, for me, poetry is about scaling back. It's not about writing a long story. It's about really cutting it down to paragraph. Not all
Just
the time.
really cleaning it up and like that. To me, it's about that elegance, like the exact right word.
Yeah.
You know.
And I love poets. They know how to fucking talk.
Right. Yeah.
And they know how to use the language.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem I'm coming along, and the problem I have as an artist is just speaking, learning how to talk about my art and talk about painting, which is really difficult.
Well, what do you do? Let's say somebody says to you, I say to you, so, you know, what's behind what you're doing right now? What do you say?
Yeah, I usually, you know, take a Xanax. Or bourbon or something, but I'm always immediately like stonewalled. Like, wait, it's about I'm confused about what to say.
Yeah.
And I also want to sell my art.
Yeah,
like
sure.
I want to make a living as an artist, but I mean, I tend to just do abstract landscapes, you know, and I've been trying to focus in on that more, where they actually look like landscapes.
Right. Sure.
And like
The one you posted last, it was beautiful. It had a really good light in it.
Oh, thanks.
That's why I made that comment about the light, because I was like, remember this. It's about the light. This is really nice.
Yeah,
like
but
the light works.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thanks. Well, I'm also trying to mess with this notion of hardcore abstraction and de Kooning and putting light anywhere.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
making more creative choices, but then, you know, matching that with something that looks. I want it to look good. I love to draw a lot, and I want that love to be in the paintings.
Yeah.
So, and that could go on for hours, you know.
Do you draw? I mean,
I love to draw.
I mean,
I draw all the time.
Yeah. So you're doing like big full drawings as well as paintings?
No, I do tiny drawings of anything, of fruit or peppers or dogs or people, or I draw my balls, or you know, draw nudes of myself.
Yeah, that's cool.
But
have you done big drawings?
I've not really like pastels, 18 by
Yeah.
24. But what size are you talking about?
Well, like essentially what I'm talking about, what I'm kind of getting at is, you know, if you could somehow join your love of drawing with the scale of your paintings, it might be something really cool.
I see.
Like a big 4x4 drawing.
Drawing. Yeah. I've never thought of that.
And just see where it goes.
Yeah, so we met because I saw you in a documentary about Daniel Johnston a long time ago, and I'm familiar with your wife, who was in Glass Eye
Yeah.
in the 90s.
Yeah,
and
80s, 90s.
Really?
Yeah.
Kathy McCarthy?
Cardi.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Kathy McCarthy.
She gets that a lot.
Yeah.
She also gets McCartney.
Jesus. So when did you move here?
98.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
I've been here since 98.
So we came here roughly the same time.
Oh, really?
94, 95
Yeah.
is when I came.
Yeah, I got here. I was living in Wyoming, and Kathy and I kind of hooked up again after not seeing each other for 12 years, and we decided, well, let's give it a shot, right? And so we actually moved to Wyoming, and then we there just isn't enough work there really, so we kind of ended up back here, which is, you know, I'm okay as long as I'm in one of the western states. I'm good.
Yeah.
So I'm okay.
And you weren't teaching in Wyoming?
I was.
You were
a little
teaching?
bit, yeah, not exclusively.
Yeah.
But I was running a motel and teaching privately, and then I had been teaching for the city of Jackson before that.
And that's how, I mean, I met you. I just took one of your drawing classes without knowing who you are. And that was fucking the best.
Oh,
like,
wow,
you're
thank
my
you.
favorite, you know, I've had 4 or 5 teachers, and you're my favorite teacher in Austin. I'm not just saying that because you're here.
Thank you, that's nice.
But you were very, I come across, especially in abstraction, you get teachers that are very open and very much like, yeah, that's cool, just do whatever.
Yeah.
And I hate that so much.
Yeah.
Because I really needed someone to say, this is how to draw, and this is how big the leg should be. These breasts aren't proportionate, you know, and you have a very direct teaching style, you know, it's open. It's like, I was thinking of like, you're the Hans Hoffman of the South or something. Because I imagine his classes being very diverse.
Yeah.
A lot of different styles. But you have an approach for every style. That was my observation of it.
I mean, what I think, you know, in terms of just like teaching everybody,
Yeah.
I think it's so simple to do for me. all I got to do is just recognize the individual.
Yeah.
Just teach that person, not just another student. You know, and then because you can connect with them, because everybody learns differently, everybody hears different things out of a sentence, you know. So you have to kind of figure out what is this person having trouble with, and then how do I get through to this person?
Yeah, and what are their goals?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
What do they want to accomplish?
Absolutely.
And that comes from starting from a specific place, like draw what you see, and build out of that.
Yeah.
But I needed someone to say that to me, and that helped everything I was trying to do in abstraction, and it changed the intention of what I was doing because anyway. So I took maybe 4 of your classes, and drawing, some painting ones, and
See, I think you talk about your work beautifully. I mean, that was very fluid, and I got it, and that was great.
Well, I'm high. No, I'm on Xanax right now, and no.
But you can do it, though. I mean, that was great.
With you, yeah. But I also have different approaches for different people, and if it's someone buying work for me, I want to. And I studied accounting in college. I worked for the IRS, so I have a business mind, and I want to also use that to connect with people that want to buy my work that maybe don't know about art so much, and I want to have a language system in place to talk to them too, you know?
Yeah.
Professional podcaster.
Let me get this.
I'm just kidding. You can get it if you need to.
No, it's okay. Oh.
Is it Kathy?
Yeah. She's updating me on this is the anniversary of the massacre at Goliad.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
So, explain that because I'm stupid.
Yeah.
But Texas that's Texas history, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
These were the guys that they lost a battle, essentially, and they were being held prisoner by Santa Anna, and they were being supposedly transported to, essentially like a prisoner of war camp, right? But they were in fact lined up and shot, just because Santa Anna wanted to do 2 things: just not take care of them, like not have the expense and the trouble of dealing with these guys, and also eliminate potential soldiers for the future.
Right.
So they just killed them.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what year is this?
1835.
Is this is the come and take it? Is that later? Is that flag?
The whole come and take it thing. That's actually, in a sense, the very first action. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I'll tell you, the best book you ever want to read about Texas history. There are 2 of them, but the best one, it's fictional, but it's obviously built around facts. It's called The Gates of the Alamo.
Okay.
Phenomenal.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so great.
Can you read that to me?
Yeah.
I even audiobooks. I'm like, I don't. But you read a lot.
Yeah.
You love history.
I love history.
So,
yeah.
were you born in Texas?
No, West Virginia.
West Virginia. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're interested in this Texas history.
I love Western history.
Western.
And Texas history specifically.
Right.
Texas has got one of the best state histories of all the states.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, there's so much stuff. I actually love to just go to the Alamo and hang out.
Yeah.
Just hang out, walk around inside. It's an amazing place.
Cool. And this is some that you kind of reference in your paintings. There's
absolutely, yeah.
There's a lot of there's I'm gonna pump the website again for listeners, runningdogpress.com.
Yeah.
And a little
which is going to be revamped.
I was going to
very soon.
Because you've got a lot of paintings, but when you go to the paintings part of the website, it's 4 paintings.
Yeah.
Which are great paintings, like bear, crow.
Right.
But I want to see 2 more.
Well, and the reason that's happening is because I'm stashing images because I'm getting a Squarespace site.
Okay.
And going to close that one. So, but the
For
Squarespace
painting.
site isn't up yet.
Yeah. And you've got everything on Running Dog. You've got the poetry, chapbooks, paintings.
But it hasn't been updated
teaching.
For a long time.
Yeah. And I don't know if I like I don't like websites. Yeah. People don't really seem to look at them, generating traffic to them. I don't know how the fuck to do that.
Yeah.
But
social media right now.
You're on Twitter though?
Yeah.
You use Facebook?
I don't use Twitter very much because I think I've just gotten into so many fights with people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and not even really fights, just I just get so much negative feedback about something I'll say, just oh, forget it. I just dump that one.
Are these like students or just?
No, it's ridiculous, really. But every once in a while, I'll just comment. I follow a lot of comics.
Yeah.
I follow comics the way a lot of guys follow sports. I follow comics, right? So I get into that, and I'll just comment on some something that happened in some comic's life. And every comic, if they're somewhat popular, got thousands of followers. So they get to read your comment, and then you just get barraged with all this shit back at them. So I was like, oh, forget it.
And fans of comics are waiting to respond. Like they seem to live for that stuff.
Yeah, they're like vicious basement nerds. I mean, it just really, it's a guy like Patton Oswalt. Oh my God, he's got a whole bunch of people that are just out there.
You like? I'm sort of hit or miss with him.
Really?
He seems to have gotten a little older, and he's got kids.
Yeah.
And he talks about his kids.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're fucking Cosby now."
Yeah, that's why I don't like Jim Gaffigan, because I love Jim Gaffigan earlier, but now it's like all about his kids.
He got so big, so quick.
Really, yeah, well, that's good. What do you, Cosby? That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I
shouldn't have mentioned Cosby. Fuck. Now I'm thinking about him.
What do you think about Cosby?
I think
I didn't want to believe it because I like Cosby.
How can you not? There's too much.
Oh yeah, it's
evidence.
It's raw now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's out there. But at first, I didn't want to believe it.
Yeah, genius. Like Pryor,
Yeah.
And for comics, that's like he's on the Mount Rushmore of comics for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because of his ability to do it all, and yeah.
I just kind of felt like, I don't know what I felt like. Honestly, it was irrational.
Yeah.
My ability to not believe it.
Yeah.
I had no proof one way or the other. But then I just thought it just avalanched.
Yeah.
He did it.
Have you been
I think, I don't know,
fan of comedy for whenever? Really?
Yeah.
With the albums.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah. I grew up with all like that, Carlin, and way back, even way back, like Jonathan Winters and Robert Klein, and
Jeez.
Even, actually, to tell you the truth, way back before that, I used to have recordings of radio comedy. Mm-hmm. Like Jack Benny, Fred Allen.
Yeah.
That stuff. I used
Lenny
to listen
Bruce.
to that stuff, yeah. And then later, Lenny Bruce. And yeah, I mean, that stuff is amazing. I can't watch Lenny Bruce anymore, though. He makes me too nervous.
He's pretty,
He's always like moving, he's always moving.
Yeah, that guy.
He moves around more than Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, well, Bill Hicks, too, is when I watch his performances, I can see it coming.
Yeah, Hicks is phenomenal.
The anger.
Yeah.
The end, too,
Yeah, Hicks, I don't know what would have happened to him if he'd have lived. I honestly don't know.
I don't know.
He may have had to just drop out.
He might have fallen off.
Because he was really hitting the wall there. I mean, he was so pissed off about everything.
Everything.
It's like Carlin. Carlin at the end was just pissed off about everything.
But he had a certain style.
Yeah.
That was other level for, a lot of comics. Yeah. So what are some of your favorite podcasts? You said you listen to comedians' podcasts.
Yeah, I listen to Marin. I listen to WTF. And I listen to, I used to listen to Jay Moore a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know, he started getting some people on that, like, too sportsy for me.
Yeah,
I just got away from that.
He loves sports.
Yeah, and I couldn't deal with that. And then Pete Holmes, I listened to that one. You Made It Weird is a good one.
Yeah.
Kevin Pollak is a really good one.
Yeah, the chat show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you watch the video?
I've only watched a couple.
I'm a fucking nerd. Well, I have a shitty day job, so I'm glued to a desk.
So you get a chance to watch him?
Yeah, I like he has a lot of actors on, so he's real animated.
Yeah.
I bet they all are, but yeah, he's great.
I like that. I like the vibe of it. I like the sort of like Vegas-y vibe of his podcast, It's real sparkly.
Yeah.
But he does have to lose his girlfriend on the show.
Oh, really? Is she bringing it down for you?
She just interrupts too much. I mean, it's fine.
But it's
okay.
Disney.
But yeah, that whole Disney shit, like, stop it already. We get it.
But I just turned my head because Pollock's getting his.
Yeah.
She's like 25 years younger or something. She's hot.
Yeah, she's kind of cute. Yeah,
she's hot, and Pollock is.
But she's got this weird manic energy, like this weird obsessive manic thing. Like she knows all these Simpsons lines, and she will not accept somebody misquoting it. She has to like leap in and tear their throat out.
Who cares?
Like, okay, back up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't like seeing Pollock get sidetracked because he's kind of old school. He's and he's real intentional about it, about what he's asking and what he's saying and how he's doing it. That is a little annoying. But.
And then he kind of and then I've noticed too that he, like every good other half of a relationship, he gets in there and he sort of tries to identify with what she likes. He sort of pretends he likes it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
yeah, don't bring your family to the thing. It's never, there's going to be a bias. And you're going to lean.
Yeah, because I don't want to, it's like it's in his house. I don't care about what goes on in your house, you know?
Yeah. That's not entertaining. But I'm really interested in, I would love to see more artists do them because, like you're saying, man, people, it's a really cheap format. You could talk about your art and people could understand what's happening in the art world.
Yeah.
Just artists are on it. They're way behind on that shit.
I think painters normally don't talk,
I know.
I'm unusual that I'm talky. Because most painters, they just, like, they paint it and then they set it. I said it already. It's in the painting.
Yeah.
Can't say it again, right?
Is that because you're a teacher? Is that?
I think it's the other way around. I think one of the reasons that I'm a teacher is because I'm talky. Mm-hmm. But I think the reason I'm talky is because, or I'm verbal, is because I read and wrote as a kid. I was very interested in literature, so that made me talky. That made me verbal.
Along with, you were drawing and painting at that time too?
Right. I've always had this like two art forms thing in my life,
Wow. That's great.
Like I write and then I paint and I write and I paint and I write and I paint.
God, that's awesome.
For the longest time I tried to reconcile them. I kept thinking, it just seemed like I had to bring them together in some way, but then I realized, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do this. I could maybe like cook and, be a stamp collector. I don't have to bring everything together.
Yeah.
So, they don't have to have things in common and it works fine.
You've published a lot of chapbooks.
Self-published, yeah.
Self-published.
Yeah, I've never actually been officially published. I want to do that, not a vanity way, but I would like to put everything, I've got like 24 chapbooks out, right?
Wow.
I'm going to go through, pick a few things out of each one, and put it all together in one book.
Yeah.
Like one big, I guess probably a Vanity Press book, but I just want to see it all clumped up.
Mm-hmm. And you do the art for these too?
Yeah, the covers.
Wow. That's awesome. I'm trying to think of what else. Are you doing, what are you working on this year? Like, do you have shows? Do you show a lot?
Not a lot. God, I wish I did. I'm trying to show more.
Yeah.
I just didn't show for a really long time because I kept feeling like I wasn't ready or what I didn't like what I had ready, right? So I kept not showing. And then I started realizing that, I'm just going to show whatever I do have. Mm-hmm. And then that's going to be my impetus to get ready, to make things. So then I started doing that. But now, I've been showing a lot more lately.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where?
In the last year or so. Remember the place that did that benefit?
The salon?
Yeah, she basically shows me all the time there.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You've got that whole space.
Yeah, for a long time. And then a couple different places like that. And I'm trying to get into some official places. But really, because I'm shifting gears again right now, it's kind of like now I don't even know what I would show. Because I went from, like I was saying earlier, I went from the big stuff. Yeah. Now I'm doing little stuff. And it's way more representational.
Really?
Like just straightforward, still life.
Uh-huh.
Kind of painterly, impressionistic still life. Portraits, stuff like that. Where before it was these huge, like historical references and like that.
Yeah, and texts, which I usually don't like in paintings.
Right.
But yours is pretty. It doesn't come. I don't know how to describe it, but it looks. I think it looks good.
Well, what I do is I draw the word instead of write the word. I draw the word.
Okay.
So that it's like a drawing of the letters.
So who? I'm trying to think of who would your influences be as a painter? Like who were you looking at?
Yours, same ones. De Kooning for sure. Yeah, Twombly for sure. Oh my God, yes. Larry Rivers, Jim Dine. Pretty much anybody up until like 60, maybe 70, like 1970. I like that whole feel. Like I don't even care about the particular painter so much. It's just that whole movement. I just like what they were exploring. But then past that, and there's maybe a few different people here and there.
Basquiat, maybe.
Well, the thing about Basquiat is it's so funny. I like the work, and I kind of want to like it more, but I disrespect the person so deeply that I can't like the work.
Yeah, he was a prick, right?
Yeah, he's just a real asshole.
He dumped all his friends when he got famous.
Oh, and he was one of these guys. He's one of these guys where they use people, they figure like society or my friends or whoever will take care of me so I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
For some reason, I really deeply disrespect that.
Yeah.
And he's one of them.
Well, there aren't any reasons to respect it that I can think of. I mean, and what's sad is how that ends up for him. You know, how he just kind of eats himself and then dies early, and then fuck, that's it.
And those guys, I mean, they asked for it in a way when they end up burning every bridge.
Yeah.
You know, and they made, you know, they got nobody left to hold their hand.
Yeah, it's really sad too because they're in pain. Mm-hmm. I mean, it seems evil, but it's actually like it feels like a cry.
That's why I wonder what happened to Robin Williams. I'm still mystified by that. I mean, he had so many friends. He had so many people loved him. Why would he end up, you know, in that corner? There were so many people he could have reached out to. I'm so mystified by that.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Yeah, never know.
Yeah, did you see the Louis C.K. episode where they go to the graveyard? It's like their friend that died.
No, but oh my God, I want to see that.
It's pretty dark.
Wow.
They both. It's pretty close to when Robin Williams dies, and they basically agree that they're going to go to each other's funerals. You know, it's hard to describe. It's one of the most interesting episodes, and Robin kind of plays himself.
Wait, I did see that.
See
yes.
And they go to the strip club.
Right, they go to the strip club. Yes, I do remember that one. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But I watched, like, as soon as I heard Robin Williams died, I watched that episode again. It's just, that guy had it all on all levels. He was
so mystifying.
I can see him going on the other end though and being so depressed, like having that type of talent, that energy, being able to do what he does on the high end, and then feeling that low end and getting
really
sick.
I always feel like, no matter who a person is, no matter what, if they have that many resources, it seems like
why would you not live it up?
Yeah. And use them.
Use them. Yeah.
But I guess he just didn't.
Well, but he had a good run. What was it, 60 something when he?
That's true. That's true.
He lived a long time, and maybe he wanted to. I can see wanting to call it, and having control over when you fucking do it,
That's a good point.
I mean, that's not how I would do it.
Yeah, but I could see that.
Yeah, you might as well wait it out and see what happens.
Well, I used to think that, but then I guess it was 2 years ago now, I guess. I don't know, a year and a half, whatever. I broke my leg, right? Not a big deal, but I had to have surgery, blah, blah, blah. So I was, essentially 3 months, I was in a wheelchair for about a month, and then I was on crutches and all that shit. And, I had this boot and all this stuff. And, and it just, I could get a tiny taste of what it would be like to be kind of helpless, especially the wheelchair period, and having people have to ask people to go get things and have people to do this. And I thought, ooh, maybe I don't want to live to be all wretched and, broken up.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know about that.
Hand that brush to me, please.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think so.
No.
Because for a while I just thought, I'm going to ride this out all the way, just see how nasty it gets,
Yeah.
Now I'm not so sure.
If you get sick and you...
Yeah.
Yeah, I broke my foot recently, and I'm in a... It wasn't as bad as... Yours was like a full break.
Yeah.
How'd you do that, by the way?
It's so embarrassing. I just slipped and fell. That's all it was. I just slipped and fell.
Sorry.
Just like the dumbest thing in the world. Mostly what it was is I probably wouldn't even have broken it, except that I slipped so fast. It was so quick, that my leg tucked under, and so I kind of came down on it.
Yeah.
And so smashed it when I hit it, and it just, fat ass broke my leg is what it was. And so, that made me just long enough in a wheelchair and stuff to go, ooh, this kind of sucks.
Sucks bad. That was probably the first time you've had to deal with something
like
that.
I mean, well, in 87, 88, no, that's not right, 77, I broke my back. And I was in bed for like 3 months, but that was so long ago. I was 18 years old, right?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. But, that, I was so young then I wasn't even forming opinions about things.
Yeah. Is there a good story around that break?
Well, only in this one sense, how it happened. It's more just like kind of creepy and frightening. Here's what it was. We were driving around on a really snowy, horrible day in Pennsylvania. It really shouldn't have been out. We were kids, idiot kids. My sister was driving, and the car hit a school bus. It slid and crashed into a school bus. And the car was super damaged. The school bus wasn't damaged, hardly at all, right? But the car was totaled. And I was in the back seat, and I smelled gasoline, right? So the back seat had me pinned. I was like pinned in the car. So what I did was, it was a bucket seat. I pulled the bucket seat out of the metal floor. Like I pulled the bolts free of the metal floor.
Jesus.
I know. That's how I broke my back. It wasn't the accident.
That's not where I was hoping that story would go. Damn it.
It didn't. Yeah,
the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, I hulked out.
Not really.
We went back later and looked at it, and like the floor was like all puckered up where the bolts had come loose.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was crazy. I didn't. It's one of those things where you don't think, you just do it.
What were you trying to do?
Get out.
You were trying to get out.
I just went out of this car before it explodes or whatever. So I just like ripped the seat out and then fell out onto the ground.
Fuck.
But yeah, so I actually probably would have been fine if I wouldn't have done that.
Well, shit. Yeah. Well, but if you die, do you become another animal? Do you go back to?
I hope so. I got high hopes for an eagle. I got high hopes.
Eagle.
Yeah, that's where I hope I'm headed.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that would be the best.
That interests me to no end because, oh God, I would love to. I love animals too, not as much as you.
I don't know.
You're kind of like a naturist too, in a way. Like
that's a good word for it, actually. Yeah,
it's definitely. Really cool. Those are my favorite artists that actually keep that connection to where, for me, that's where the art is. I don't really like people the way you draw people a lot. Is that because is that for practice or
It's for practice, but another thing too, you got to remember. I think one of the most important things in the arts, in the visual arts, is the form and content dichotomy, right? Like, if somebody's form, they care about the way things look, or just the way it looks, feels, or if they're content, they're very interested in what it's about. Now, everybody's a hybrid, right? But I think I'm pretty heavily in the formalist end of it, right? So if I'm doing portraits or whatever, it's just still it's not about the person.
Right.
It's not about them. It's about the way they look, or the way that these forms look under these lighting conditions, more than anything about their story. And not in any way disrespecting their story. Perfectly fine. That's just not my interest.
And integrating your style and creative choices into that.
Yeah,
and color
definitely.
choices.
Yeah, it's much more about. I just like the way people look in dramatic light. That's why I do a lot of figure drawing and portrait stuff like that.
Heavily lit.
Yeah. I like high contrast stuff.
Yeah, it's easier to execute, right?
Yeah, plus it gives you more playroom. Even though it's kind of interesting. Just recently, I've been playing more with subtlety and like muted palettes and like low light and stuff. I've been really thinking about that. Like the other day, I was looking at a photograph for a still life, and I turned the contrast way low, and then I turned the light way low, and it was quite dim, And I started thinking, this would be really cool to do like landscape at night.
Oh yeah.
Or still life in low light conditions.
Yeah.
See what that's like.
Harder to, those dark colors are.
And it's kind of, I guess there is part of me too that's kind of like, it's sort of easy, like the high contrast stuff with the big cast shadows, and it's sort of easy. Maybe I've been taking it like kind of easy. I should maybe push that a little. So like lower it and see if I can still make it work.
Yeah, it was interesting you mentioned form and content. One of the big drivers in my desire to make art is how abstract expressionists were beginning to make this pure act of creation, the content of what their paintings were about.
Yeah.
And trying to integrate that into a good painting is something I'm always going back and forth with. That.
Well, it seems to me, I would say at a glance, obviously, you're a formalist.
Okay.
With content leanings, like a 70-30 kind of a thing, but you're like mostly a formalist because you seem really interested in the mark, the energy. I think a painting no matter what the subject is, or even no matter how it's handled, I think a painting works if it's a record of the act of being made.
Yeah.
Like if you can feel it being created, it's successful.
Yeah, gives it that energy and life.
Or just a fresh energy in it. It seems to me that it's more relatable that way.
I'm going to write that down and put it in my artist statement. And every time I meet someone who wants to buy my art, I'm going to try to pass that on to them.
There you go. It works for me. It really does.
Do you, this is getting a little business personal, but do you tend to sell art in Austin?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Not I wish I could live on it.
Right.
That would be fantastic, right? We all wish that. But not yet. I'm not doing that yet.
And you've got a skill that you've honed in teaching that, I mean, wouldn't it feel weird to walk away from that and just paint?
I could. It's so awful in a way. I actually can't do that.
Right.
If I get in a situation where I'm not teaching, in fact, I noticed it in myself just earlier, right now, when we were just talking earlier. You mentioned that you were having trouble talking about your art, so I automatically went into teacher mode.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to teach you how to do this.
Yeah.
And I felt myself doing that.
Yeah.
It's just a thing I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I'm in student mode. Fucking tell me what to do. That's why you're here.
It sort of feels, it's a little pushy, right? Like, it's very presumptuous in a way.
Well, but
it's a habit I have.
And it's a skill a lot of artists, I could never teach it. I know a lot of people say, oh, Carl, you could do whatever. I could never fucking teach anyone to do anything.
Why do you think you could?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. That's just I don't want to.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I don't really give it, I like... People are alright. I don't really care if they paint or don't paint. I'm really focused on me trying to get my art done before I'm fucking dead. I'm 40 this year. I'll be 60 soon, and I won't have made... I'm really focused on... I gotta get my paintings made. And I'm sorry that you're having trouble paint, but I really don't want to fucking help you with your paint. At this point in my life, I've had 44 jobs. I've spent all this time not making art, trying to survive. And now I'm just trying to steal it away from... I broke my foot, and I work at the IRS. Horrible job. Most horrible job I've had.
Ouch.
And I'm off work, though. I broke my foot skateboarding, broke a little bone. And I was begging my doctor, please tell them I can't work, please. Because I
hate the job so much.
Well, and I love to paint.
Yeah, you need the time.
And it takes a long fucking time,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, it does.
So, but I love when I meet an artist who, you, can talk about their art, can help people, can do it all, and write poetry. It's rare, I feel like, in the art world. I feel like a lot of artists, like we were saying with Basquiat, not that they're all like that, but, I wish more artists were go-getters and were, able to communicate well. And
one of the problems, we all have time issues.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Money issues.
That is so much what I need is time. I need more time to work and make paintings, I can see where I could be if I could just work on it. But on the other hand, I actually really love my job, and I love my work, and I'm super grateful for it.
Yeah.
And I love the part of my personality that connects to it.
Yeah.
I kind of, one of the reasons I really admire comics is because I wish I had the balls to do that.
Yeah.
Right? And in a way, teaching is slightly like that. You get up in front of people, you got to hold their attention, you got to a certain extent, entertain them.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of show business in it, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, I consider painting and entertainment part of the entertainment industry, which bums me out when artists don't fucking suck it up and try to get out there. And comics are so good at being, making podcasts and booking shows and working.
Yeah,
and
just really doing it.
I wish artists would fucking do that more,
Well, they're still hung up on that romantic loner thing.
That's done, man.
Yeah.
That doesn't benefit any of us. And we're getting to a place where we need to start. And Austin, I feel like, is changing a lot. The artists that are staying here, we need, maybe this is always been, but it would be great to have a community of artists that are thinking about helping each other and thinking about how we can make fucking money, man. Make enough money to paint. We should be able to have a career now, because all these fucking weirdos are moving here from, I don't know where they're coming from.
Still California, I think.
It's California a lot.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Bring your money and, buy the art, but...
Well, those places, like, I've always been kind of envious of those places, or actually those times, like, like the abstract expressionists all ganged around, around, they could go to like the same bar and hang out, and they talk, and they fight, and they go paint, and they come back and fight some more. Those are cool groups,
Sure.
You get together like that, and and I think I don't think those happen so much anymore. What they do happen now, though, are these, art communities, like all these places that are in New Mexico and Idaho and stuff like that.
New York, northern New York.
I think if you can, exactly.
Upstate.
Provincetown, I think if you can get in those, that's where that's happening. And the support system is there.
Yeah, but why can't we build one here?
Seems like a ready-made place for it.
But it's not happening, and I don't know why exactly. But yeah, it'd be cool.
Well, I'm quite sure. I've noticed this right away when I moved to Austin. The music scene dominates this town to the point where the poetry and the visual arts suffer a bit.
Really?
I think so. I think the energy level and just the attention level isn't there. I mean, look at a Chronicle.
Yeah.
75% music, there's a tiny bit of poetry, some visual art,
theater.
You have theater, and it's like giant music, restaurants. Like, what's that about?
Yeah, food. Yeah, there's a lot of good artists here. That's another thing, I see them moving away a lot. Galleries have trouble staying open.
I mean, even Dallas is getting, pretty good art scene.
Yeah. People from Britain moving there.
Dallas, of all places.
Yeah. It's I like it better than Houston.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, God, Houston's a nightmare.
But there's a lot of money there, and there's an art scene. I don't know. But yeah, Austin's definitely, in Texas, it's a haven for people that want to take it easy. They come here and go to UT, they come to learn, and they fall in love with the relaxedness of the city.
Definitely.
And then they just kind of, some of them just go to sleep. And some of them have hobbies and shit, but...
That was actually why I was a little bit grateful. Like, this weather we're having today, if we'd have had this during South by, there'd be people moving here right now.
Yeah.
But since
they just
so
stay
rainy, they were like, okay, I don't like it.
They'd be kicking you out of your house.
That was ridiculous. Every spring, people move here because of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was rainy, so good.
Yeah, fuck them. I mean, it's not for Austinites.
Yeah.
That festival.
Oh, God, no.
So
I hide. Actually, I wasn't even in town this year.
Really?
But in the past, I've just, I hide the whole week.
Yeah.
It's such a mess.
Yeah, I feel like I've jumped around a lot and skipped some things. We'll just hit a couple more points. But are you interested in the comedy scene in Austin?
Yeah, well...
And you perform, you read poetry.
That's about as close as I get. Yeah. But I don't know as much about it as I should. Honestly, it's just a time thing. I do have some people I like here.
Really?
But every time I see them, it's always like they're like the third opener or the MC or something for somebody else.
For the headliner.
So you don't get to see him that often. Mm-hmm. There's a guy, I wish I remember his name. I saw him. He opened for Marin a few years ago, and he was phenomenal. He was so phenomenal. He was a poet. I mean, it was incredible stuff. I can't remember his name at all, but he was so. It was very. His work was very much like referencing the act of doing the thing in the moment. Yeah. It was so cool. Huh. It was really cool. Like he was talking about what he was actually doing at that moment while he was doing it.
Weird. And he's probably moved to New York or LA or something.
He's famous now. I forget his name.
There is a lot of turnover here, and comedians and actors. I see them coming here. It's a cheap place to live, and they get it together, and then split. And it's like, fuck. Damn, we almost.
Did you ever do an improv? Or any of that stuff?
No. God, no. Wait, you mean like improv comedy?
Yeah, or like a class?
No. God, no. That, for confidence,
Yeah, I wonder if maybe...
It'd probably help.
Yeah.
But again, it's like, oh God, I hate this. But I've seen you perform. You've got, all the things a teacher has, the confidence and the...
Well, within my subject,
mm-hmm.
Frankly, I don't have much trouble getting up in front of people and talking. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But even then, in terms of art, or if I'm talking about my subject, or a subject I know, like the Kennedy assassination, I'm confident I'll go all day, right? And I have no problem with it. So that's the only time I ever do it is in context of something I know. So I don't know that I would have trouble. Maybe I would, but I seem to be very, like, I actually read sometime there was some study or something that's the number one fear is public speaking.
Yeah.
And I always think, like, seriously?
Yeah. That's me.
Super easy.
That's me.
Wow, you should try it.
It's horrifying.
What exactly are you afraid of? Like, what would happen? You'd embarrass yourself?
It's not even about it's not even about what's going to happen. It's about what people are thinking. I'm putting my insecurities into their brains. They're looking at me in this way, and it's not accurate, but it doesn't mean it's not happening in my brain.
Right.
Everyone is seeing my flaws and weaknesses and my horrible, background story, my racist family, my all this shit that's last time I beat off, they can see when I, all these horrible things that I don't want people to know or look at.
You think that goes in that must feed into your painting some, right?
Fear?
Well, I mean, do you worry that maybe looking at your work they can see that?
No, I don't. There's a giant, and there's also, I mean, I feel like I have some talent for drawing and stuff, and I pick, like, I'm in a studio alone deciding exactly over weeks, sometimes on one painting, deciding exactly what the world is going to see and what they're going to own or whatever. But it's not a one moment thing for me. For painting, it's very much repeated sessions, building layers and thinking with as much time as much, hours and hours of just freedom, an aloneness. I love being alone in the studio. I love it more than anything. And my wife, she's nice. We've been married, but we're okay. But I would much rather be in here alone painting.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I feel you wanting to be an eagle, or that connection to nature and the universe. That's where it is for me. And in front of people, it's the opposite.
Interesting.
It's the direct opposite.
Interesting.
But you don't have any
fear
about what they're thinking of you.
There are other things that I am completely uncomfortable about, but like that I'm not uncomfortable at all whatsoever.
Yeah, it's interesting watching you make art in class. Every once in a while, you'd go off on a tangent to demonstrate something, and you totally change gears. You turn into a fucking
I've heard that
monster.
Yeah.
like a good monster. But you're like throwing shit around, and you're wiping your brush on your shirt. And you're like, and you're like mumbling, and then you're like, God, I gotta stop because I can't do this right now.
It's one of the reasons I can't demo teach very well, because there's a hard break between the two things, and I have trouble bridging it.
Yeah.
Like, if I start actually drawing the thing, I'll just forget the whole class is even there.
Yeah.
And just start drawing.
Yeah, and I was really sad because you could see in your face this desire to make art at that moment. Like, you were inspired, and you were like, God damn it, I wish I could fucking make art right now, but I have to teach. But
it's okay, because I have worked out a way to do it a little bit, but yeah, they are separate things for sure.
Yeah. And
I
I'd
just can't do
rather
them both.
I'd rather not separate. I'd rather just make art all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we're adults.
I think you'd be a good teacher, though.
Thanks.
Yeah. Here's what makes a good teacher. It's pretty simple, really. You know your subject, and you have an intensity about it, right? You don't have to be able to. Not that you can't speak well, but you don't. That's what a lot of people think. It's not about that. It helps, but that's not what it's about. What it's about is being able to connect your passion to their passion. That's it.
Yeah, but if it's about art, art is impossible to define. How do you communicate the act of creation to anybody effectively without saying, okay, draw what you see? Like really, I don't have any confidence in what I know creation to mean.
That's true.
And no one knows.
Well, you know what I do more in that sense? Because I do teach advanced once in a while. Mm-hmm. I don't teach people so much how to create. I just teach them, or I try to teach them, how to connect with the part of yourself that creates.
Yeah.
Like, how to connect to that part. Because it's, a lot of times it's a thing that we feel like, almost like ashamed of it.
Right.
Because we don't get paid to do it.
Right.
It's not encouraged.
Right.
So we don't talk about our creativity very much, but connecting to that is the whole deal.
It's important.
Yeah, I mean,
but how do you do that if you don't know what it means and you can't describe it with words?
Believe it or not, there are actually exercises for that.
Really?
Yeah, there are exercises that help you.
Yeah.
And there are also just ways to think about things, which I think you obviously are okay with. Like, you're in that mode. You don't have to learn that. But some people do. Some people don't know how to connect to their creativity. And the biggest thing, by far, people are afraid to make a mess. People are afraid to make a mistake.
Right.
And so that there's nothing that will kill creativity faster.
Yeah, but it's got to be one of the most amazing skills for anybody doing anything. Learning how to think creatively and have confidence within that. You can do fucking anything if you can make this. And people are doing it all the time anyway.
Absolutely.
They're making these personal creative choices, and they're like, oh, that's not really artistic or creative, but it always is a little bit.
I mean, this is one of my exercises right here. I'll ask somebody, I'll say, what made you choose that shirt that you're wearing today? Like, what about it? Sometimes they'll just say the color. Sometimes they'll say it was clean. But sometimes they'll say this thing like, I just like the way this shirt makes me feel, or I like the way this shirt fits, or the way, like that. And I go, okay, see that feeling right there? That's what you're trying to connect to. Yeah. That's your aesthetic talking.
Yeah.
And if you can connect to that, you can draw on it as an energy source, and that's where your art comes from.
Yeah. For me, that's a beginning point.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, well, what was God thinking? And I'm a Christian, and so I have all these.
I didn't know that.
I don't like talking about it.
Okay.
I'm not devout, but I do have these connections to what creativity is, and how was that what God was thinking when, so, and then there's also a little bit of like, I don't want to step on God's territory, like he's the master artist or whatever. I think it fucks me up because I tend to think of myself as less than.
You clearly do, yeah.
And it's not good.
Yeah, that's probably a mistake, I would think.
A lot of religious people like that. But you're an atheist, right?
No, I don't assume to know anything. Why?
Yeah.
I figure, there's no quiz.
Right.
I don't have to pass a test, so why say I know anything?
Yeah, I think
we clearly don't have anywhere near enough information to figure out what's happening.
Yeah, and it's a little arrogant to say either way.
Oh, please.
That there's a God or there isn't. No.
It's actually so arrogant it's kind of cute.
It is cute.
It
it becomes uncute pretty quick in Texas.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't like, and I don't go to church a lot, but when I do, I'm always hiding. Don't talk to me, because I know what they're going to say. And I'm here to pray, and I've got my own issues. Right. Don't fuck with me about them.
What church do you go to?
It's called Vox Vignette. It's actually like sort of a Asian evangelical, so it's like a hipster church sort of.
Cool. What's that? Something voice?
Vox Vignette, Voice of Angels.
Oh.
And a lot of people go there, and it's not too traditional, so that's why I go, and I don't go often.
Wow.
But and I was born in Texas, raised in Texas, all that shit, so it's everywhere. Unavoidable.
I had no idea. That's so cool.
Yeah.
No, it's whatever, if it works for you, it works, right?
Yeah. Gotta get something to work.
Yeah.
But God, I hate to fucking end on that, but you gotta go to a Kathy's.
No, I'm good. Yeah, I got plenty of time. Mostly anything that I'm talking about that involves my processes, or where my art comes from, frankly. Anytime I'm ever in the middle of that, I always end up with the same thing. All I'm ever doing in terms of my art, like what I'm trying to do, is just make stuff that I feel like needs to exist in my world.
In your world.
Right?
Yeah.
I honestly can say, and this is a big deal for me because I worked hard on this, I got to the place where I'm really not trying to make work for an audience.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just trying to make work that I like. And I think that's important. It sounds selfish, but I think it's important because it's the only way you can be clear.
Clear, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But there's no desire. I mean, there's at some point you would like to share it with somebody.
I would love to sell, and I would love people to just be like knocking my door down trying to buy my art. But if I start catering to that, I'll lose my way.
Yeah.
I won't know what I'm trying to do anymore, and then I won't do it well.
Right.
Right. So I just have to please myself.
But do you have any strategies? And I'm sure you probably get some art students that are like, okay, well, what do I do now? How do I make a living? What do you tell them?
Well, one of the best things that I have found that works for me, that's all I can really do. One of the best things you can do is get as deep in the art community as you can. Like, just get connected to the art community. Know people, make art friends, know other artists, go to, like art groups, get connect up with them. Go to figure drawing sessions, meet the other people there. Teaching classes is really good for me because I know all these different people, I know all the artists, stuff like that. And then that gets you to the point where you find out about what's happening, who's showing, who's doing what, and you can do this and make connections. It's just all about networking. As awful as that is, it's true.
It's true. Are you encouraging artists to leave Austin and like go to a bigger city?
I don't.
Because you get artists in your classes that are fucking talented.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you encouraging them to go to New York?
Never.
Really?
I wouldn't encourage anybody to ever go to New York for any reason. but in terms of like making art, I think I'm hopeful that we're coming to a place where geographically you can be anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, we're getting to the point where like the digital image is enough.
Yeah.
And so maybe we don't have to be like New York, Paris, anymore.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Shit. Awesome. Yeah, I remember your I was thinking of this lady who was in a class, one of your painting classes. We kept calling her the slasher. Do you remember? She was like an older lady, very unassuming, like very not pretty, but like fucking amazing. And she was very loose, and
I can remember
the slasher. That was her name.
God, I don't remember that, but
that was the most fun I had in my life as your classes. And when you'd leave the room, I would just run around the room and copy people's noses.
Yeah.
I was so fucking happy, anyway, I want to.
You should.
I want to do it again.
Yeah, do it again, man. And not only that, but honestly, I know this is. I'm just a big fan in life of challenging yourself, and if teaching is a thing that you think you would like to get past the barrier of, I think you'd be good at it. Now, if you don't give a shit about getting past the barrier, never think about it again. But if it's a thing that you kind of feel like, oh, wow, I wish I could do that, because you do have a passion for it.
Yeah, well, and then 2013, I made like enough money that year from art sales to make a shitty living, but a living, and that was the first time that happened. It came out of nowhere. And then after that, and I had not really inclinations before that, but after that, I was like, fuck, this is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I filed my taxes that year, I was like, holy shit, I could maybe do it. Yeah. And then after that, I was like really going for it, and I'm still in that place where I'm like focused on trying to generate sales and book shows and do podcasts and shit.
That's cool. That's so ambitious. That's really cool.
But now I'm having to branch out because it's not consistent.
Well, yeah,
art sales
it's hard to get. I mean, that's the dream, right?
It's impossible.
Yeah. It's just
it's impossible in Austin.
It's like a bonus. It's always a bonus. Like, you sell some art, that's a bonus.
Do you know anyone that makes a living from art sales in Austin?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
You don't have to.
2 people.
Okay.
Well, no, actually 1, because the second person also teaches.
Right.
So I would just say 1 person.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he was. He's a member of an big artistic family. They're like actors and musicians and all this stuff anyway. And then he came out of that. His brother's a musician. He's an artist. He's a musician too. And he's got all these. He's just got this amazing drive and positivity. Like, the guy just goes,
Yeah.
And so I think that I honestly believe that his vibe sells his art to a certain extent, even though it is in itself gorgeous.
Sure.
But
you've got to sell it. You've got to be a business person.
Yeah, he's just got this positivity about life,
Yeah.
People connect to that.
Oh God, people love that. They want to buy your shit.
Yeah.
Whatever you're selling.
I'll buy it here. Can I buy your clothes? I don't care. I just want to buy something you owned.
I want a piece of it. Yeah. So I think we're about an hour. I think we should wrap it up. Is there anything you wanted to add? Running dog?
No, man, I'm good. No. Here's one thing I do want to add, and here's why I want to add it even. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because a while back I did an interview, and it was about poetry, and a young poet in the audience asked a question, and the answer I gave left me unsatisfied. So later I thought of the real answer.
Okay.
And I want to give that answer now.
Yeah.
Because that way I can close that door.
I apologize.
No, that's all right. Don't worry about it. Mine did the same thing. What is that music?
It's just a shitty iPhone.
Oh, I know that music, though. It sounds familiar.
I'm really sorry.
No, it's okay. This guy, he said, so I want to learn to write poetry, and I want my poetry to be better. What do I do? And I gave some answer which was not good. And the answer I should have given, pay attention. That's the answer. So that's honestly, that's what I would like to say, like, to any upcoming artist, poet, musician, visual artist, right? Pay attention.
Yeah. Cool. High five.
You got it.
Austin Abstract Artist Podcast number 10, David Thornberry, runningdogpress.com. Do you know what your new website's going to be?
I don't. I'm hoping, because see, I have an unusual middle name, Edwin Traveler. So if I can get David Edwin Traveler, Thornberry.com, that would be great.
Oh my God, that's a lot of typing.
Yeah, it's a lot. But it won't be, nobody else will have it.
And this is going up tonight. Kathy McCarthy does she have gigs coming up? You want to pump?
She's got this thing today, so it'd be already too late.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But anyway, check. She's an amazing part of our community.
Yeah, she's
in Austin. Incredible musician. And I want to thank you for teaching. Thank you for your art. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for everything you've done over the decades that you've been here in Austin, and been friends with Daniel Johnston, and important part of our community. So thanks, and we're out.
Okay, buddy. Thank you.
Hey guys, this is Carl. I'm just recording a quick outro. That was cool. David Thornberry, man. He's an awesome teacher, painter, poet. runningdogpress.com. So check it out, and I will see you guys at the next Austin Abstract Artist Podcasts. Will be number 11. Talk to you later. Bye.